In a distant galaxy, far beyond the reaches of Earth, an intergalactic conflict raged between humans and an alien race known as the Zorgans. The Zorgans, a fierce and technologically advanced species, had set their sights on Earth, seeing it as a prime target for their expansionist ambitions. The humans, despite their relative inexperience in intergalactic warfare, refused to surrender their planet without a fight. The story's main characters were the Zorgan commander, a ruthless and calculating leader named Xylox, and the human protagonist, a brave and resourceful soldier named Captain Jake Thompson. Xylox had risen through the ranks of the Zorgan military, earning a reputation for his cunning strategies and unwavering determination. Captain Thompson, on the other hand, was a seasoned veteran of Earth's armed forces, known for his quick thinking and adaptability in the face of adversity. As the conflict escalated, the stakes couldn't have been higher. The Zorgans had amassed a formidable fleet, equipped with advanced weaponry and shielding technology that far surpassed anything the humans had encountered before. Earth's defenses, while formidable, were stretched thin as the Zorgans launched simultaneous attacks on multiple fronts. The human forces fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. The Zorgans' relentless assault took a heavy toll on Earth's military, with countless lives lost and entire cities reduced to rubble. The situation looked bleak, and many on Earth began to lose hope. However, Captain Thompson refused to give up. He rallied his troops, inspiring them with his unwavering courage and determination. Despite the overwhelming odds, he believed that there was still a chance to turn the tide of the war and save Earth from the Zorgans' clutches. Unbeknownst to the humans, Xylox had a secret weapon that he believed would guarantee the Zorgans' victory. It was a creature of immense power, a genetically engineered beast designed to sow chaos and destruction wherever it was unleashed. Xylox had spent years perfecting this ultimate weapon, and he was confident that it would be the key to breaking the human spirit and forcing their surrender. As the battles raged on, the tension mounted. The humans fought with everything they had, but the Zorgans' superior technology and numbers seemed insurmountable. Captain Thompson knew that they needed a miracle to survive, but he had no idea that the key to their salvation would come from the most unlikely of sources. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The Zorgan commander's plan was about to be unleashed, and the humans' only hope rested on the shoulders of one brave soldier who would soon find himself face to face with a creature unlike anything he had ever encountered before. Little did Captain Thompson know that his chance encounter with this beast would not only change the course of the war, but also challenge everything he thought he knew about the nature of the enemy and the true meaning of courage and friendship in the face of overwhelming odds. In the depths of the Zorgan mothership, Commander Xylox stood before a massive containment unit, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. Inside the unit, a creature stirred, its powerful muscles rippling beneath its armored skin. This was the attack beast, the culmination of decades of Zorgan genetic engineering and cybernetic enhancements. Xylox had personally overseen the beast's development, pouring countless resources into creating the ultimate weapon against the humans. The beast was a marvel of Zorgan science, a perfect blend of raw power, unbreakable loyalty, and unwavering obedience. It stood over 10 feet tall, with razor-sharp claws and teeth capable of tearing through the strongest human armor like paper. The commander's plan was simple yet effective. He would unleash the beast upon the humans' most heavily defended cities, allowing it to wreak havoc and destroy their morale. The humans, he believed, would be utterly terrified by the sight of such a monstrous creature rampaging through their streets, and their resistance would crumble in the face of such an unstoppable force. Xylox had carefully studied human psychology and had concluded that they were a weak and emotionally driven species. He believed that by targeting their fear and breaking their spirit, he could bring them to their knees without the need for a prolonged and costly military campaign. As he stood before the containment unit, Xylox couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in his creation. The beast was a testament to the Zorgan's superiority, a symbol of their power and dominance over the lesser races of the galaxy. He knew that with this creature at his command, the Zorgans would be unstoppable. The commander turned to his subordinates, who stood at attention around the containment unit. "Prepare the beast for transport," he ordered, his voice cold and authoritative. "We will unleash it upon the humans' most heavily defended city, and watch as they crumble before our might." The Zorgan soldiers hurried to carry out their commander's orders, activating the containment unit's release mechanism and preparing the beast for its mission. The creature stirred once more, its eyes glowing with an eerie red light as it sensed its impending freedom. Xylox watched with satisfaction as the beast was loaded onto a transport ship, ready to be deployed to Earth. He knew that the humans would be utterly unprepared for the devastation that was about to be unleashed upon them, and he reveled in the thought of their impending defeat. As the transport ship lifted off from the mothership's hangar bay, Xylox returned to his command center, eager to monitor the beast's progress and witness the humans' downfall firsthand. He had no doubt that this would be the turning point in the war, the moment when the Zorgan's superiority would be firmly established, and the humans would be forced to accept their place as a subjugated race. Little did Xylox know that his carefully laid plans were about to be thrown into disarray by the most unlikely of factors: a human soldier with a unique perspective on the nature of the beast, and a heart full of compassion and understanding that would change the course of the war in ways that no one could have predicted. The stage was set for a clash of wills and ideologies, as the Zorgan commander's cold and calculating approach to warfare was about to be challenged by the human capacity for empathy and connection, even in the face of the most terrifying adversary imaginable. Captain Jake Thompson stood atop a ruined building, surveying the devastation that lay before him. The Zorgan attack had been relentless, and the human defenses were struggling to hold the line. As he watched the smoke billowing from the destroyed remnants of the city, he couldn't help but feel a sense of despair wash over him. Just as he was about to turn away and rejoin his troops, a strange movement caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just another piece of debris shifting in the wind, but as he focused his gaze, he realized that it was something entirely different. There, amidst the rubble and destruction, stood a creature unlike anything Jake had ever seen before. It was massive, with a body covered in thick, armored plates and powerful, muscular limbs. Its eyes glowed an eerie red, and its mouth was filled with razor-sharp teeth. But despite its fearsome appearance, there was something about the creature that struck Jake as oddly endearing. Perhaps it was the way it moved, with a lumbering grace that seemed almost comical in contrast to its size. Or maybe it was the way it looked at him, with a curious tilt of its head that almost seemed to convey a sense of intelligence and awareness. Without thinking, Jake found himself approaching the creature, his hand outstretched in a gesture of peace. To his surprise, the beast didn't attack, but instead regarded him with what appeared to be a mixture of confusion and interest. As he drew closer, Jake realized that the creature was not just a mindless killing machine, but a living, breathing being with its own thoughts and feelings. He could see the intelligence in its eyes, the way it seemed to be studying him just as intently as he was studying it. Slowly, cautiously, Jake reached out and touched the creature's armored hide. To his amazement, the beast leaned into his touch, letting out a low, rumbling purr that almost sounded like contentment. From that moment on, Jake knew that he could never see the creature as an enemy. Despite its fearsome appearance and the fact that it had been created by the Zorgans to destroy humanity, he couldn't help but feel a sense of connection with the beast. As he spent more time with the creature, Jake began to realize that it was not the mindless killing machine that the Zorgans had intended it to be. It was a living being, with its own desires and needs, and a capacity for love and affection that the Zorgans had never anticipated. Jake knew that he had to protect the creature, to keep it safe from those who would seek to use it as a weapon of war. He also knew that he had to find a way to show the other humans that the beast was not their enemy, but a potential ally in the fight against the Zorgans. As he looked into the creature's eyes, Jake felt a sense of determination wash over him. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult, and that he would face opposition from both the Zorgans and his own people. But he also knew that he had to try for the sake of the creature, and for the sake of all the innocent lives that hung in the balance. With a deep breath, Jake turned to the creature and smiled. "Come on, big guy," he said softly. "Let's go show the world that there's more to you than meets the eye." And with that, the unlikely duo set off into the ruins of the city, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, and to forge a bond that would change the course of the war forever. As the attack beast lumbered through the ruins of the city alongside Captain Jake Thompson, it found itself grappling with a strange new sensation. For the first time in its existence, the creature was experiencing something akin to confusion, a feeling that was both foreign and unsettling. From the moment of its creation, the beast had been programmed with a single, unwavering purpose: to destroy the human race and pave the way for Zorgan domination. It had been trained to view humans as nothing more than targets, obstacles to be eliminated with brutal efficiency. But now, as it walked side by side with this human soldier, the beast found itself questioning everything it had ever known. Jake's kindness and compassion were unlike anything the creature had ever encountered before, and it couldn't help but feel drawn to the human's gentle touch and soothing words. At first, the beast tried to resist these new feelings, to cling to its programming and its mission. It shook its head and growled, attempting to summon the rage and bloodlust that had always driven it before. But as Jake continued to treat the creature with patience and understanding, the beast found its resolve weakening. It began to see the human not as an enemy, but as a friend, someone who cared for it, and valued its life beyond its usefulness as a weapon. The beast's confusion only deepened as it watched Jake interact with other humans. Despite the destruction and chaos that surrounded them, the soldier never lost his sense of compassion and humanity. He treated every person they encountered with kindness and respect, no matter their race or allegiance in the war. This was a concept that the beast struggled to understand. In the world of the Zorgans, compassion was seen as a weakness, a liability that had no place on the battlefield. But as the creature watched Jake in action, it began to realize that compassion could be a source of strength, a way to bring people together and inspire them to fight for a common cause. As the days turned into weeks, the beast found itself growing more and more attached to Jake. It looked forward to their daily walks through the city, to the moments when the soldier would take a break from his duties to sit with the creature and share stories of his life back on Earth. Through these conversations, the beast began to learn about the world beyond the Zorgan mothership. It learned about the beauty and diversity of Earth, about the many different cultures and ways of life that existed beyond the narrow confines of its own experience. And as it learned, the beast found itself questioning its own purpose more and more. It began to wonder if there was more to life than just fighting and killing, if there was a way to find meaning and happiness beyond the endless cycle of war and destruction. These thoughts weighed heavily on the beast's mind as it lay down to rest each night, its massive head cradled in Jake's lap. It knew that it was supposed to be an unthinking, unfeeling weapon, but it couldn't help but feel a growing sense of attachment and loyalty to the human who had shown it such kindness. As the war raged on around them, the beast knew that it would eventually have to choose between its programming and its newfound friendship with Jake. But for now, it was content to bask in the warmth and comfort of the human's presence, to savor the fleeting moments of peace and connection in a world torn apart by conflict. And so, the unlikely duo pressed on, two lost souls finding solace in each other's company, as they navigated the treacherous landscape of a war that threatened to consume them both. Commander Xylox paced back and forth in his command center, his brow furrowed with frustration and anger. He had been monitoring the attack beast's progress, expecting to see it wreak havoc and destruction upon the human city. Instead, he was greeted with a sight that made his blood boil. The beast, his ultimate weapon, was not only failing to carry out its mission, but seemed to be actively collaborating with the enemy. Through the video feed from the beast's optical sensors, Xylox watched as the creature lumbered alongside the human soldier, Captain Jake Thompson. The two seemed to be conversing, with Jake gesturing animatedly and the beast responding with nods and grunts of acknowledgement. This was unacceptable. The beast was supposed to be an unthinking, unfeeling tool of destruction, not a sentient being capable of forming attachments and questioning its orders. Xylox had spent years perfecting the creature's programming, ensuring that it would obey his every command without hesitation or remorse. And yet, here it was, fraternizing with the enemy, as if it had forgotten its true purpose in life. Xylox slammed his fist down on the console, causing the nearby Zorgan soldiers to flinch and avert their gaze. "Bring me the beast's control module," he growled, his eyes flashing with rage. "I will not tolerate this insubordination any longer." The soldiers scrambled to obey, hurrying to retrieve the small crystalline device that acted as the beast's neural interface. Xylox snatched it from their hands, holding it up to the light and examining it closely. With a few quick taps on the module's surface, Xylox accessed the beast's core programming. He scanned through the lines of code, looking for any signs of corruption or malfunction. To his surprise, he found none. The programming was intact, exactly as he had designed it, and yet the beast was still not following orders. Xylox's mind raced as he tried to understand what could have gone wrong. Had the humans found a way to hack the beast's systems, or was there some flaw in the creature's design that he had overlooked? As he pondered these questions, Xylox's gaze fell upon the video feed once more. The beast and Jake were now sitting together on a pile of rubble, the human soldier's hand resting gently on the creature's massive head. The sight made Xylox's stomach turn with revulsion. He knew that he had to act fast, before the beast's wavering loyalty could jeopardize the entire Zorgan war effort. With a few more taps on the control module, Xylox initiated the beast's emergency recall protocol. The creature would be teleported back to the mothership, where it could be reprogrammed and sent back into battle. But as the recall signal was transmitted, something unexpected happened. The beast let out a roar of defiance, shaking its head and backing away from Jake. The human soldier looked on in confusion, not understanding what was happening. Xylox watched in disbelief as the beast fought against the recall protocol, its massive body racked with spasms as it struggled to resist the Zorgan's control. This was impossible. No creature, no matter how advanced, could overcome the Zorgan's technology. And yet, as the seconds ticked by, the beast remained stubbornly in place, its eyes locked on Jake's face. In that moment, Xylox realized that he had underestimated the power of the bond that had formed between the creature and the human soldier. He would have to take more drastic measures to bring the beast back under control. And if that meant destroying the human city and everyone in it, then so be it. The Zorgan's victory was all that mattered, and Xylox would not let anything or anyone stand in his way. As the attack beast fought against the Zorgan's recall protocol, Captain Jake Thompson could sense that something was wrong. The creature's body was tense, its muscles rippling beneath its armored skin as it struggled against an invisible force. Jake had grown accustomed to the beast's presence over the past few weeks, and he had come to see it not as a weapon, but as a friend. He had watched as the creature slowly learned to trust him, to seek comfort in his presence, and to communicate its needs and desires through a complex system of grunts, growls, and body language. Now, as he watched the beast struggle, Jake felt a surge of protectiveness wash over him. He knew that he couldn't let the Zorgans take the creature back, to strip it of its newfound sense of self and turn it back into a mindless killing machine. With a determined set to his jaw, Jake stepped forward and placed his hand on the beast's flank. "Easy there, big guy," he murmured, his voice low and soothing. "I won't let them take you away from me." At the sound of Jake's voice, the beast's struggles seemed to ease slightly. It turned its massive head towards the human soldier, its eyes wide and pleading. In that moment, Jake knew that he had to do everything in his power to keep the creature safe. Over the next few days, Jake worked tirelessly to help the beast resist the Zorgan's control. He spent hours talking to the creature, reassuring it that it had a choice, that it didn't have to follow the orders of its cruel masters. At first, the beast seemed hesitant, torn between its loyalty to Jake and its deeply ingrained programming. But as the days passed, Jake could see a change coming over the creature. It began to assert its own will, to make choices that went against the Zorgon's commands. When the Zorgon sent a squad of soldiers to retrieve the beast, Jake and the creature fought side by side, working together to repel the attackers. The beast's massive size and strength, combined with Jake's tactical expertise, proved to be a formidable combination. As the battle raged on, Jake could see the change in the beast's demeanor. It no longer fought with the mindless ferocity of a programmed weapon, but with the calculated precision of a thinking, feeling being. It was no longer just a tool of the Zorgons, but a creature with its own agency and free will. In the end, the Zorgon squad was forced to retreat, leaving Jake and the beast to catch their breath amidst the rubble of the ruined city. As they sat together, the beast's massive head resting on Jake's lap, the human soldier couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and affection for his unlikely companion. "You did good out there, big guy," Jake said softly, running his fingers over the beast's armored hide. "I'm proud of you." The beast let out a contented rumble, its eyes half closed in satisfaction. For the first time in its existence, it felt a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose that went beyond the narrow confines of its programming. As the sun began to set over the ruined city, Jake knew that their struggle was far from over. The Zorgons would not give up their ultimate weapon so easily, and there would be many more battles to come. But for now, in this moment of peace and companionship, Jake knew that he had made the right choice. He had given the beast a chance at a new life, a chance to be more than just a tool of destruction. And together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united by the bond of friendship and the power of free will. Commander Xylox was furious. His ultimate weapon, the attack beast, had not only failed to destroy the human resistance, but had actively turned against him. The creature's betrayal was a blow to his pride and a threat to the entire Zorgon invasion. In a desperate attempt to regain control, Xylox ordered a final, all-out assault on the human city. He would show the humans and their traitorous beast the true might of the Zorgon Empire, even if it meant reducing the city to ashes. As the Zorgon fleet descended upon the city, Jake and the beast watched from their vantage point atop a ruined skyscraper. The human soldier could see the fear and determination in the eyes of his fellow defenders, but he also saw something else: hope. "They don't know what they're up against," Jake said, turning to the beast with a grin. "They've never seen a human and a Zorgon weapon fighting side by side before." The beast let out a low growl of agreement, its eyes narrowing as it surveyed the approaching ships. It knew that this battle would be the toughest yet, but it was ready to fight alongside its human companion until the very end. As the Zorgon ships opened fire, Jake and the beast leaped into action. The human soldier directed his troops with practiced efficiency, while the beast charged into the fray, its massive claws and teeth tearing through the Zorgon armor like paper. The battle raged for hours, with both sides taking heavy casualties. The Zorgons' superior technology and numbers seemed to give them the edge, but the humans and their beast ally refused to give in. In the midst of the chaos, Jake and the beast found themselves face to face with Commander Xylox himself. The Zorgon leader was armed with a massive energy sword, his eyes blazing with hatred and fury. "You traitor," Xylox snarled, pointing his sword at the beast. "You were supposed to be our ultimate weapon, not a pawn of the humans." The beast let out a roar of defiance, its eyes locked on Xylox's face. It knew that this was the moment of truth, the moment when it would have to choose between its old master and its new friend. With a final decisive move, the beast lunged forward, its claws outstretched. Xylox swung his sword, but the beast was too quick. It dodged the blow and sank its teeth into the Zorgon's arm, causing him to drop his weapon in pain. Jake was there in an instant, his rifle raised and aimed at Psylocke's head. "It's over, Psylocke," he said, his voice steady. "Your weapon has chosen a new side." Psylocke's eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at the beast, his once loyal servant now standing protectively in front of the human soldier. In that moment, he realized that he had lost, not just the battle, but the entire war. With a final, desperate cry, Psylocke activated his emergency teleportation device, disappearing in a flash of light. The rest of the Zorgon fleet, seeing their leader's defeat, began to retreat, their ships disappearing into the sky. As the dust settled over the ruined city, Jake and the beast stood side by side, exhausted but victorious. The human soldier looked up at his companion, a smile spreading across his face. "We did it, big guy," he said, reaching up to pat the beast's armored head. "We saved the city, and we did it together." The beast let out a contented rumble, its eyes shining with pride and affection. It knew that it had made the right choice, the choice to fight for what was right, rather than what it had been programmed to do. As the sun began to rise over the horizon, Jake and the beast knew that their journey was far from over. There would be more battles to come, more challenges to face, but they also knew that they would face them together, united by the bond of friendship and the power of choice. In the aftermath of the final battle, the once thriving city lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of the Zorgon invasion. But amidst the rubble and debris, a new hope had emerged, a hope embodied by the unlikely friendship between a human soldier and a Zorgon attack beast. As Jake and the beast surveyed the devastation, they knew that the road to recovery would be long and difficult. The city would need to be rebuilt, the wounded would need to be healed, and the scars of the war would need to be mended. But they also knew that they had the strength and the determination to see it through. The beast, once a symbol of the Zorgon's oppressive might, had become a symbol of something else entirely: the power of redemption, the ability to change and grow beyond one's programming. In the days and weeks that followed, Jake and the beast worked tirelessly to help rebuild the city. The beast's immense strength and durability proved invaluable in clearing away debris and erecting new structures, while Jake's leadership and tactical skills helped to organize the efforts of the surviving humans. As they worked, Jake and the beast found themselves growing closer than ever. The human soldier marveled at the beast's intelligence and adaptability, while the beast found itself drawn to Jake's courage and compassion. Together, they became a beacon of hope for the people of the city, a living embodiment of the idea that even the most unlikely of allies could come together to create something beautiful and enduring. As the city began to take shape once more, Jake and the beast found themselves reflecting on the events of the past few months. They had both been through so much, had seen and experienced things that most creatures could scarcely imagine. But through it all, they had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. The war had taught them the value of friendship, of loyalty, and of the power of the individual to make a difference in the world. As they looked out over the newly rebuilt city, Jake and the beast knew that their work was far from over. The Zorgon Empire was still out there, still a threat to the peace and stability of the galaxy. But they also knew that they had the strength and the determination to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would continue to fight for what was right, to defend the innocent, and to stand up against tyranny and oppression wherever they found it. In the end, the story of Jake and the beast became a legend, a tale passed down from generation to generation. It was a story of hope and redemption, of the power of friendship to overcome even the darkest of odds. And as the people of the city looked up at the statues that had been erected in their honor, they knew that they would never forget the sacrifices that had been made, or the courage that had been shown, in the face of the greatest threat their world had ever known. For Jake and the beast, the future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: they would face it together, side by side, until the very end. And in that knowledge, they found the strength and the courage to carry on, to build a better world for all the generations yet to come. As the sun set over the city, Jake and the beast looked out over the horizon, their eyes filled with hope and determination. They had come so far, had overcome so much, and they knew that there was still so much more to be done. But they also knew that they had each other, and that together, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. And with that knowledge, they set out once more, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring, and to build a better, brighter tomorrow for all.